Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Starladder Star Series Season 11 Group Stages. It is Lions versus Virtus Pro here, a best-of-one series, and guess what? It's our last of the day. Of course, December the 20th, we're about to end the day with a really good matchup. Lions, your sweetest squad, versus Virtus Pro, an all-CIS division coming out and playing this best-of-one series. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. It's been a long day, of course. I've been casting for a bit, so has Blaze with me, and Cyclops, of course, started the day off. We will finish the day off here. And, of course, my co-caster, Blaze, how the hell are you?
Doing really good, man. This may very well be one of the last casts I do this year, so go out with a bang here for 2014. It's been a really good year for Dota 2 in general, and it's been a lot of fun. So been fun casting today with you, man, and just in general to get go through all these patch iterations. Like, we look back these past 12 months, and there's been a lot of changes, but I would say overall the game is in such a better state than it was, and I look forward to see what 2015 brings. But for now, we've got in front before us Virtus Pro versus Lajons, and yeah, I mean, this is a pretty intense matchup. I think both teams have a ton of potential, though I think right now Virtus Pro is selling me a little bit on these bans. Like, the fact that they ban out the Venge and the Visage early shows that they've really researched what makes Lajons strong and what makes them work, what they always pick up in the first phase when they can. So just based on the fact that they certainly show that they're reading their opponents, I think that VP might have an edge here.
Yeah, I think VP are the more solid, more well-stable, and obviously they've been the squad that's been around for the longest in terms of these two squads. You look at Lions, they're definitely a lot newer. They just got, 8 Mother and all these guys together, so for Virtus Pro, this has been a team that's been around since around TI4 and after that, and obviously they've played really well. I think the core success of their play has actually been Jadam and his support play, and Yolan Sidori as well. And then you look at G and his mid play, or whatever he decides to play. He's been up there in terms of what he can bring to the table, which is a wide hero pool and somebody that, for a CIS team, he doesn't necessarily go balls deep. He does what he has to, but he's more of a farmer. He sits back and he plays patiently, whereas, the rest of Virtus Pro doesn't necessarily play with the same mindset that he does. So,
yeah, I think that, I mean, say what you will about BZZ, when he's on. He can do so much work, and yeah, I think there's a lot of respect that should be given to Jadam and what he can perform in early roaming lineups. The Skywrath and Mirana both in the hero pool, so I think that they can make some things do some real work here. But for now, it's going to be the first pick in Phase 2 for Lajons. They go with the Ancient Apparition, so essentially they have like a Void Chronocentric lineup without the Void, as it has been banned out, and I'm curious what setup they're going to have to enable this Death Ward and Ice Blast to do work.
Maybe, honestly, I actually wouldn't mind seeing an Axe here for Lions, but I think that works. Death Ward and Ancient Apparition Ice Blast would be pretty, not easy, but somewhat okay to hit with a Berserker's Call. It's not the easiest thing in the world. You have a lot of early snowball potential with Viper and an Axe. We didn't see Axe have the best time in the last game we casted, which was 4ASC versus MYI, but I think the hero's still pretty good. Virtus Pro, and both of the Virtus Pro squads love this hero. The Spirit Breaker comes out. The offlane Spirit Breaker specifically for both of these squads is something they value very highly.
I think Lajons could do well to look at their mid and maybe put the Viper as safe lane for Era and then go for something like a Venomancer or a Puck for their mid. That would give a lot of enabling capacity for Witchstalk Ancient Apparition, but they go a different tack here. They've got Viper for their mid, they've got Slark for their safe lane, and we'll have to see what Era can do on that hero in particular. Still very gankable with like maybe an Orchid first, Nature's Prophet, but otherwise, he should be able to gain a lot of traction early on, and they don't have anything ground target other than the Sprout to lock him in place.
Yeah, that's the thing. You really need those AoE disables, and Slark, he thrives off of a team that doesn't have that at their repertoire. So the fact that they picked this up, I think Era should have a pretty good time playing this hero. And honestly, it's something... Oh, wow. I did not expect the Troll, Warlord, Spirit Breaker, Nature's Prophet, Ogre match I draft from Virtus Pro. Did anybody expect this? Probably not. My God, man. This is some interesting stuff coming up from Virtus Pro.
Yeah, they really are going to have to make sure their lanes count, though. It's hard to do really well against Viper in the early game, and then also the Slark AA, because the cold feed is guaranteed. So, yeah, I would say that the lanes are going to be very difficult for Virtus Pro, and they're also extremely critical, because right now Virtus Pro has no team fight. So going to the mid game, it's all about the ganks, it's all about their movement across the map, and following that up with objectives. They need to get towers. They need to have a gold advantage, I would say, come the 30-minute mark, because otherwise the game is just too far forward for Lajons unless they get some crazy teamfight hero for their last pick here. Now, we're not sure exactly where the Spirit Breaker finds himself, but it seems to be like a Jotum support or a Yol support hero. Like, they've already got Sadoi's offlane. Troll is definitely going to be a core hero, so that would imply that unless Ogre or Spirit Breaker are really going to be taking the farm, which I'm not the biggest fan of, that they are going to be running a duo melee support.
Interesting combination of supports coming out for Virtus Pro, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Although Spirit Breaker, he's a hero that can get in range quite quickly because of his charge, so maybe range shouldn't be an issue here. We'll have to wait and see, though. It's certainly, this draft is something that could either just have Virtus Pro go up and beyond, or it could have it crash and burn. We'll have to wait and see. Batrider, last pickup coming in from Lajons, a hero that's fallen out of favor to a certain extent, still very strong in the offlane. And it's a very solid hero to round out the Lajons lineup. This is, you look at this draft and you're kind of like, I can get down with this. You don't have a lot to lock down with, but the Witch Doctor and Ancient Apparition, should they get their ultimates off and should they hit, they will do a lot of work in these team fights. So,
yeah, defining the early game, Lajons is going to have two major abilities here: the Paralyzing Cask and the Flame Break. If they hit that on a Spirit Breaker charge and negate his initiation, they're going to have a pretty good time. If they fail to do so and the Spirit Breaker gets to charge whoever he wants, followed up by a Nature's Prophet teleport, essentially having two people automatically jump to your lane, and whenever they feel like, it's going to be actually pretty difficult. So it really is going to be that stun to break down the charge, and they just have to assume the Nature's Prophet is going to be everywhere, because Sadoi is going to be very active this game.
Sadoi is going to be, I mean, you have to be active when you're playing this hero, honestly. You have to be around the map, and they have this global strategy, and honestly, I'm surprised that maybe a Disruptor wasn't picked up for Lajons, but they already picked up their two supports, and that gave Virtus Pro the go to pick up that Spirit Breaker. They go for the Venomancer, a good last pick to be sure. They get a lot more team fight coming out with G playing it as well, probably in that mid lane. And this is more than likely going to be a good lineup, I think. Virtus Pro, snowballing oriented, yes. They won't have necessarily the late game covered. Slark is maybe going to be able to take over this game, but we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot to look into in terms of this draft for both squads.
Yeah, it's all about the push here for VP. They need to get a good laning phase because they can follow it up so hard. Plague Wards, Nature's Call, the Battle Trance, really, really good for getting the push out. They have tons of attack speed. They'll demolish towers. But Lajons have a pretty good draft that can kind of hold position. They can fortify their structures. They can just defend them as best they can. And I guess the pressure here is just to make it so that Era doesn't get farmed up. Era should not go for a Midas this game, despite it being a relatively popular item on Slark. It has to be something active because this game's going to heat up. I would say maybe the first 2 minutes might be a little quiet. It really depends on the Spirit Breaker. But after like 3 or 4 minutes have elapsed and we've got like a level 4 Nature's Prophet and a few levels on the supports, I definitely think VP are going to heat things up.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I mean, you think about the early bounty runes coming out. You want to fight over these as best as possible. You want to get involved. You want to make sure you secure those for your team. But at the same time, there's also a good chance that it will be quiet. But it will break out eventually. And I agree with you on the Slark. He'll probably pick up the Blink Dagger this game for Era. Maybe you go for the Shadow Blade, but I'm not the biggest fan of that item currently. I think Blink Dagger is just a better item in this situation, especially for catching out like a Nature's Prophet or something. But
that and the fact that like Spirit Breaker charge, she just carries dust, and it's like, okay, well that's a useless Lothars.
Exactly.
And that's probably one of the reasons that VP banned out the Storm, actually, is because Nature Prophet wants to be really kind of overextending himself a little bit, and the Storm Spirit's a hero that can actually really punish that. Actually, Batrider.
Do they have vision on the high ground? They almost got the kill there. He does get Venomous Gale. They do charge. They waste a bit of mana, but no harm done. They get the bounty rune for Spirit Breaker. Jotum picks it up in the top rune spot. It was picked up by Hanska and the Ancient Apparition, so
really good. I think he's probably the ideal hero to get it on in this, of all the 10, really. He can benefit so much from the early golden experience, and it's going to make it very difficult for Sadoi to be happy with his offlane. Right now, interesting creep block coming up from Seal Kid. He wants all of the creeps to hit pretty much simultaneously so the wave doesn't push out, and with some good denying, they can get this under control.
And Arrow will have a decent time farming up in the top lane. G is going to be playing the Venomancer, and he will be playing it in, actually it's BZZ. They switched it up, I believe. I thought G was playing it to begin with, but G has gone on the Troll Warlord. Excuse me, and, well, he's going to be going for the Whirling Axes early on just to try to get that nuke damage in. This is a lane, and we talk about lane dominators, and Troll Warlord is certainly one of them, and on top of that, Viper is one as well, but Viper can't really, I don't think, do too well against this match. It's going to be close, but G's dominating early.
Like, Viper is one you look to say, oh man, he's going to get a lot of CS even with the lanes, but Troll is like,
Era, is he going to get this first blood? No, the cold feet and Era actually survives. Salves up, stays alive, and Hanskin gets the first blood as Furion was just a bit too far up.
Yeah, he's going to go for TP in, and yeah, if he went aggressive, maybe he could get some damage, extra damage on Era here, but he'll just clear it. He'll use a lot of tangos, and he'll get back to where he needs to be. A charge is actually coming out on the mid lane here, and this is a lot of potential damage here. They are going to go for the dive, but there is a Batrider.
This is not a good idea. Jotum is already in too deep, and Lions have responded in kind with a really great rotation from Giannisson fan. That's huge, and that actually stops Jotum from being super aggressive early on in this game because of the fact that they sack that off lane. Batrider's always going to be nearby, and that's a problem coming out for the Spirit Breaker for Virtus Pro.
I think it was a good idea, but it just was unfortunate that the Batrider was already making his way to the jungle, and he was in the vicinity already. Like, the Firefly can only contribute so much compared to the Napalm, so there was like still a chance they could have actually gotten the kill on Viper and gotten out. But it would have had to be the Batrider about like 500, 600 units further away because he was right there. Actually turned out to be very favorable for Lajons. And a big thing is the Observer Ward that's in the Radiant Jungle right now. That not only blocks out the hard camp here, but it also gives vision from charges from the bottom lane, which is what they expected. And so really good ward placement coming out. Doesn't really change much for the Batrider unless the Spirit Breaker charges from Fountain to the bottom lane. But it changes so much for that mid.
Sup? 8 Mother with the casual. What's going on? He might know he's being charged again. As
yeah, I don't know if it matters though. Like
Jonathan's not giving up, man. He's like he wants this kill. Typical BZZ. Well, Virtus Pro have had some internet issues. Both Virtus Pro and Virtus Pro Polar. Just in general, I think it's the CIS internet that's been a problem back in Dota Pit. By the way, I want to point this out. Virtus Pro Polar, who are no longer Virtus Pro Polar, they've been playing amazingly recently. They took down Evil Geniuses in a 5-game series. And Virtus Pro are currently in the semifinals. We could have an all, or I guess it used to be, I guess it will be, an all-CIS Grand Final in Dota Pit, as EG did go down to Virtus Pro Polar, and Secret has to play Virtus Pro a little bit later on this week. So I've been very, very, very excited. I think Virtus Pro and Virtus Pro Polar have played exceptional Dota. And, yeah.
Team Secret is rocking Mystery right now in lieu of Simba.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe
Here's
so.
how that'll work.
I believe Misery is playing the offlane. So, I'm. If you did look at Simba's play, he seemed like he could only play a number of heroes, and he was having a bit of a rough time. And whether or not it's personal issues or the fact that it's just based on pure skill alone, it's maybe a change that could work out in favor of Secret. But it could also crash and burn them. They were playing extraordinarily well before, with maybe the exception of the Summit, where a lot of people expected them to do better, but. They went 5 games versus Vici Gaming, and they almost won. But
I think it's a little bit of they were trying to avoid Alliance syndrome a bit. There was a major patch when Alliance was at their peak that absolutely destroyed the capability to dominate with every hero that they picked very frequently. They nerfed the Lone Druid, nerfed the Magnus, and I think the Chen as well. Like it nerfed every single signature hero of Alliance, and they weren't really flexible enough to really dig their way out of it. They didn't modify their hero pool significantly enough, and I think that was one weakness of Simba, is he did have a pretty limited hero pool, and with Tide being nerfed as it was, they probably would have struggled with him on the roster until he learned to adapt. So this is a way to adapt differently, just switch up the roster, and as they mentioned in their official statement, they were saying that they had different ideas of just how to play the game, so that obviously the personality aspect and the line of thought aspect, you don't want infighting when you're trying to just direct a team fight and stuff. But
it's difficult when it's just your friends, especially No Tail and Fly, have been friends for a long period of time. I can't begin to imagine that relationship, but it's obviously your friends. You're leaving a Dota team and you go off to bigger or better things, and hopefully they ended on amicable terms. But as far as this current metagame goes, it seems like the CIS teams are really starting to figure out what works. Spirit Breaker wasn't touched really at all, I think, if at all.
But no, he only got buffs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got buffs.
6.82, he got the active. 6.83, it got improved significantly. It's only a 10-second downtime on that aura.
Right. So Spirit Breaker now a very good hero, and I mean that's just one of the things that the CIS teams have been picking, let alone all these other choices they've gone for. Troll Warlord, which is an interesting pick. It's not necessarily something that we've seen a lot of success with, but they certainly are starting to set the standard, I feel like, whereas some teams are lagging behind. BZZ got back into the game and then promptly disconnected, so we might be here for a while. Maybe it's story time.
Maybe. I do think that the Spirit Breaker change to the 12-second cooldown after the charge connects or is cancelled is actually a really big aspect of the hero, because otherwise, just a lot of random problems with the timing of when you go in for the charge and what you can do next with it. So I actually do really like that small modification there, and obviously he contributes in his own special way, though. I mean, in this game, he will have his limitations. I mentioned the Flame Break and the Paralyzing Cask, and if he just kind of keeps on YOLOing towards the mid lane, as a Viper, you're going to expect this, right? Like, as soon as the Spirit Breaker's dead, here's just a quick public service announcement. If Spirit Breaker just died, he's probably charging somewhere. Just consider that somebody's heading for the fountain and be wary of it. Though he might not suspect this in Vizroom. Yeah, he might not suspect that.
He's going to walk up. The Fire Blast is going to go. The Ignite as well. The charge coming through the Whirling Axes, and they all get there at the right time. 8mother is tanky, but he's not tanky enough. He'll fall. Cask's going to go in. Jotum might go down. And there's the Firefly as well. Jotum is going to get slowed up by the Napalm. They're going to turn their attention to G. G is like, please don't kill me. The Courier now also under fire. No, the Courier is going to go, and it's going to go to the side of Lajons. Now they're going to charge on a Seal Kid. There's going to be the Fire Blast. They stop the charge. TP coming in, Sidoi. Some miscommunication coming out from the side of Redis Pro. As you look at the amount of damage that was taken by the Spirit Breaker Jotum, they couldn't re-engage off the back end of that. That was just too much aggression coming out from Redis Pro, I think.
Yeah, a little failed RNG there. If the Cask had bounced back to the other hero that was on the high ground there, that would have been an easy kill under the tower, but it does bounce back to the creep wave. But they get their comeuppance, as fortunately, Dusky the Husky makes the move to deliver on the mid lane, and the Batrider gets the RNG the other way by the fact that he had a 60% chance to miss that Courier for the second attack, and he did not. So, despite the Cask being like a 50-50 failure, the Batrider gets a 40% successful auto attack on something far more important.
And sometimes the RNG is with you, sometimes it's not, and the RNG was fair this time around. Hanskin's getting charged in the top lane. Sidoi wants to be involved in this kill. No Sprout just yet, but well, we'll see. There is another rotation. Yol's walking slowly but surely. He does have Boots of Speed. Top lane Era is also here. Hanskin has to be very careful. Sidoi he's kind of just edging closer and closer. Body blocks from the Trance not going. Hanskin getting charged down. Now they're going to jump on him. The right click going through as well. Jotum. Now there's going to be the usage of that Cold Feet. Hanskin's still alive. Yol's not able to catch up. The pounce coming in from Era onto Sidoi. Sidoi is going to die to the Cask. Witch Doctor comes in. They're going to look for Era. He has no pounce. He's got no Dark Pact. The Bash goes in, but they have no real damage to the charge. Era's solo. They finally beat him down with the clubs. Seal Kid as well as Yol going toe-to-toe. The Voodoo Restoration keeping him up and alive. The Fire Blast does no damage onto Hanskin. He's fine. They get the bigger target and killing him. Sidoi TP's back in. That's a bit aggressive. Charge onto Seal Kid.
Oh my gosh.
This is CIS Dota, man. Let's run at people. Let's keep going. Seal Kid is out of mana. Jotum is low in health. The TP from Era. It's a bit too late. Jotum, will he get out? The pounce is not going to be there. The Sprout and Era can't get through. He makes the pounce, misses on Sidoi. Jotum has to try to charge away, but he's out of mana. He can clarity up. The creeps are still chasing after him. Meanwhile, Yanasavan gets a kill on the safe lane Venomancer down bottom. And now he pops the Endurance Charge, the Empowering Haste, and he gets out, but 8mother comes in. One more auto attack will do the job, and finally Hanskin backs away as his cold proc comes in with the right click.
Man, this is absolutely wild. Just seeing these guys go just 100% ham. They do not care at all about feeding. They just want the kills, and they just want for them to get the kills in their advantage. I mean, that's what Verse Pro's lineup is all about. It's just absolutely destroy people. Get that kill advantage and turn it into tower advantage. And obviously now that level 6 is out for the Troll Warlord, that's a little bit easier. But in general, man, this is just as aggressive as you can get. If Slark actually had an Orb of Venom there, then he probably would have gotten an extra kill and probably an extra half an HP bar on another hero. But was a little bit shy on that, and he actually goes for the Magic Stick TP. Mid lane.
CIS Dodo. Yol gets Viper Stricken. 8mother chasing him down. He does have Boots of Speed. The Whirling Axes. Hanskin and Seal Kid now getting brought out. Sidoi TP's in as well. The Sprout not there yet. Cold Feet proc onto somebody. I'm not sure. There's the Whirling Axes. She is going to fall, though. 1-for-1 exchange. 8mother still going to work. Sidoi is going to fall. 8mother is just obliterating the squad of Virtus Pro. And now Era's going to come and pounce. Not able to connect. Yotum's going to charge away. and he will find a double damage rune. He doesn't pick it up. He doesn't stop. He says, I'm getting the hell out of here. He charges to the mid lane. Yul's here to help out as well. They're still chasing him down. All four of the heroes, I should say, from Lajons are here, and they're going to try to chase down Jotum. They are not able to do so. TP stop. His Era is getting free farm here. He goes back to the wave. G comes in. Whirling axes do hit. He does have Dark Pact. The Whirling Blades will go through with the melee attack. He's got his usage of the Battle Trance. He wants to use it. Era's still getting chased down, and now there's no follow-up, as Sidoi is not able to spread up, and even if he did, he would just be able to pounce out of it. Okay.
Wow, just insane. This is going to be a fun game, you can tell. But one thing I want to say is actually bottom lane.
You can't say anything, man. There's too much action going on. Giannis Van gets charged up and right-click down, and well, maybe they get Yul and Jotum. Dark Pact go, and they get the kill with 8mother coming and getting the double kill. Oh my God, 8mother.
Really high value exchanges for Lajons and VP. I don't know. They don't really have much choice but to run at people. I mean, this is why Spirit Breaker has like one of the highest deaths per game. But like once you start losing out, if you don't have the durability to keep diving, I feel like you should change strategy. But Spirit Breaker's not a hero that really backs down. He keeps on charging away. And
I mean, he's just on cooldown every time he's up. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
It's how you have to play it. It's the strength of the hero, the weakness of the hero. I don't know, but Hanskin should be going down.
Yeah, Hanskin might fall here. Voodoo Restoration keeping him alive. The Battle Trance not enough. Firefly coming through. Yul needs anything to kill Hanskin. Hanskin's going to juke into the trees. Yul sees him. He says, you're not fooling me. Batrider does kill Sidoi on the back end with Firefly. Whirling Axe is coming in. G comes through. Seal Kid is like, please don't kill me. Battle Trance has already been used, but the lasso coming in from Giannis and Fan to save Seal Kid's life. Yul has to back away. Seal Kid will die to the right click of G, but 8mother has rotated and he has his Viper Strike. G is going to try to get out, but no TP scroll. He's just hiding. Whirling Axes are going to go, but G's going to fall to 8mother. The Flame Break goes in. 8mother with the make a kill. He might even get another one. Is it another double kill coming in? And Era's going to come in, like you said. Pounds, Dark Pact. Yul is dead. Double kill. Unstoppable. 8mother 6-1 and 2.
Manning up. He drops the Nova, but he's going to die to the Urn Shatter in just a couple seconds. It's going to be close. No, he doesn't go down. Now has the Magic Wand available. Baiting in Era, but that Haste Rune staying right on top. Misses the pounce. Maybe can't finish the job just yet. The Gale connects, and he is not going to be able to finish the job.
And DZZ, Dark Pact, Era's trying to chase him down, but the Poison Sting from the Plague Ward is too much of a slow, and it's the best Dota game I've ever seen.
This is insane. Now, I want to, because I don't get to talk at all because of these damn fights. One thing is, they did a good thing on the top rune fight where they focused on the Witch Doctor, because this Voodoo Restoration is actually a real pain in the ass. It's been keeping people alive through so many fights. But the other fights, they haven't really focused on Witch Doctor, and they need to kind of shift that point of emphasis. Ice Blast will connect on mid, but Batrider's still backing off. Not really afraid of the Sprout, and not going to get hit up by any of Ogre's abilities.
So we have a bit of a lull in the action for the first time in what seems like forever. There was a period in time, before the 4-minute mark, like you talked about, where there wasn't going to be any action, and for the most part there wasn't. But since then, we've had kill after kill after kill, death after death after death. You got what you paid for, folks. It's a good Dota game so far. G is not having the success he might like to have on Troll Warlord, despite him having decent CS and a couple of kills to his name. He's died twice. 8mother is having all of the success. His mech is almost done. He needs the recipe, and in fact, he's getting close to it. He just needs a couple hundred gold, and he'll get there. Lines, they're providing some excellent team fight. Sidoi is he's having a bit of trouble as well. Might go Midas, by the way. Down bottom, Yul. Era is looking for a target. Who's he going to find? Is there any follow-up here? Fire Blast? That's awkward. Dark Pact's available. He's not going to use it. And
yeah, he's waiting. If he ever gets scaled, that's when he has a Dark Pact, since the Strong Dispel will take that away, and that's the important thing to remove in this situation. But I think the Lions are a lot stronger right now just because they got to their ultimates. Like, Battle Trance is good. Wrath of Nature Poison Of is a great combo. But end of the day, the Ice Blast, the Lasso, and I think the Dark Pact are some of the strongest ultimates you can provide here. Ice Blast will not connect, however, on the bottom lane. But, I mean, just the threat of it on a very short cooldown makes it so that VP have to start getting less aggressive or they shatter too quickly.
It feels like Era should be farming better than he actually is. He's been involved in a couple of fights, but he hasn't gotten the kills. And that is also meaning that he's not farming as well as he could be with his CS. So whatever he's getting towards, it's not going to be there for a period of time. Maybe a couple of minutes or so. And what about Giannis Fan? He actually is going to have his Blink Dagger very soon. Midas is now done for Sadoy. Top lane, charge up on the hot skip, but Era's here, and Jotum is like, I actually need to TP away. Cold Feet, Ice Blast, Cask, and they do not kill him. Will he shatter? We're going to find out.
It's really close. I think he's got it.
Shatter. Yes! With the last tick from Hanskin gets the kill. Oh my god. Jotum is like, you've got to be kidding me. But I guess that's what you get when you charge into 3 heroes, so. And
That's
now, it's Roach time for G. He doesn't even have any sort of lifesteal. He actually throws his illusions in and leaves.
Yeah, I was going to mention this earlier, but I really thought that the mana plays from G really only makes sense if he has lifesteal, because he can attack so damn fast. But in this situation, he's relying entirely on the melee whirling axes to do to make sure that there's not too much damage going his way, and he's not able to actually like man up. He's not able to sustain through it. He's got the drums now, which is great. He can close distance well, but what happens after that? I really feel like he just doesn't have enough going for him to keep going for the mana play. So they kind of tone it down a notch. They go for the Midas on Sadoy, as you mentioned. The Venomancer is just kind of slow pushing on the bottom lane, and I guess at some point they have to try to sneak Roche.
They've slowed the pace of the game down. It's on them to make this game happen in terms of just the speed and getting kills and getting objectives, like you talked about, Roshan specifically being one of them. But G can't really do that without a Morbid Mask. Oh, they push him to the high ground, and Giannis Fan gets the haste rune. He's getting charged currently. The lasso on Yol brings him all the way back up over to the high ground. Ice Blast. Boom, shakalaka. It's going to hit. Yol's going to get caught out with the cast coming in. But there's the Spirit Breaker. Jotum, hello, hello. They will try to go on him now. The right click coming in. Yol Fire Blast onto Seal Kid. Giannis Fan Flame Break comes in. Seal Kid pops. Oh, the Poison Nova comes in, but it's not nearly enough. The mech comes through. That is a completed mech at 8 Mother, and G is trying to man up. He's going to get Viper stricken. G, you are dead, buddy. They are running at Lions, and they are dying in the process of doing so. Seal Kid will go down to Poison Sting, but that is it. BZZ gets the kill. Venomous Gale is
up top. We're going to see Sadoy taking some big hits here. Arrow pops the Shadow Dance, gets the last long-range auto attack, and will be able to slip away here. There's just not much they can do with this draft against Era. The Gale is the ground target, or vector-based spell cast. The Sprout might be able to inhibit him a little bit, and you can incidentally hit him with Charge, but otherwise he is completely out of control. He can just do whatever the hell he wants, and in this case, what he wants to do is absolutely destroy Furion and then TP mid.
Jotum is going to ward and try to get out of dodge. Ice Blast misses. They should have held onto it from Hanskin, but instead went for it. Giannis Fan is going to chase him down, but Empowering Haste pop for Jotum, and he gets away. And by the way, you talked about Midas for Era. We were sure that he was going to go for a Blink Dagger, but he has the Gloves of Haste on him, and he's got just enough for, or almost just enough for the recipe. Flame Break, Jotum lives with 20 HP. That was a cool play, Giannis Fan, but you actually need to get the kill before you can walk away like that, so...
unfortunate. Up top, Arrow's going to take some big hits here if they can get in range, but the Fire Blast range is too minimal, and the Ignite is kind of useless against the Dark Pact here. They need the hard disable, but Yol can't do it beyond the tree line like he used to. This is quite frustrating. And in this context, I actually think the Midas is fine now. Like, looking at the game, I thought VP would be much more ahead. They're down, like, what, 9 kills right now? That shouldn't be the case. If the kill score was flipped and it was 18-9 in favor of VP, I would say it's impossible for Air to go Midas this game. But because they already have that kill advantage, because they're holding their towers, he can go for the Midas and cement their advantage. It's almost impossible for them to deny Slark getting some level of farm now. And Jotum cancels the charge top, but there's an Invis hero here.
They have Death Ward on Seal Kid now. They're ready to fight. They just need a good cask and some good damage coming through, some good lockdown, and Era is going to provide that with his pounds. Looking for Jotum. There's the cast, but Death Ward's going to go with the Viper Strike. Jotum is going to be the first to fall. They do Fire Blast Seal Kid up, but it doesn't matter. They've already taken one. They'll try to take two. Flame Break will make sure Yol goes down, and the lasso onto BZZ. He's going to fall. Godlike Spree for 8 Mother. And it's just that good of a game for Lions. It is going that well that 8 Mother is godlike, 9-1-4, 2,000 gold to the bank, plus a mech, and they will take a tier 1 tower, and it only gets worse for Virtus Pro. I don't know if they can get back into this. Sador's trying to split push. G is doing his damages with Battle Trance, and he might get the kill. Yeah, he will. Hanskin does die to G's right click. So.
And it also enhances Sador's split push down bottom. He's going to be able to take half this tower's HP away, which is no small deal, since tier 2 towers are going to be really impactful for Virtus Pro to take. But end of the day, you see this golden experience graph, and you know that it's going to be continuing to move the way of Lajons unless something drastic changes. So they go for the Roche play, It is essentially snuck because there are no wards up for the Dire, and they do not have lifesteal on G, so they're going to have to bring in everybody to make this happen.
G is going to have to get regen up somehow. Sidoi will come in to up Plague Wards as well. Sprout, the Treants, and now they'll be able to tank it a bit better. G will bottle through, and Lions have absolutely no idea this is happening. 8-Mother can't really throw anything into the Roche pit to spot this out, so... an Aegis is going to provide some benefit to them. They don't want to get, blown out too much, and this is one way to stifle the aggression. So, Virtus.pro will pick up an Aegis, probably for G more than likely, although Jotum has been the one that's running at people most. But he's actually going to continue to run at people. Ice Blast might connect, doesn't hit, and they will Nether Blast on a Giannis fan. He does have Lasso. The Death Ward going in. Giannis is going to fall first. G, the Cask popping. BZZ, Eul Scepter up into the air, and look at it go indeed. BZZ pops the Poison over. Too bad he's already dead. TP in from Sidoi on the backside. G has died twice. The Aegis is already gone. Sidoi is like, I am here alone. Eul might get away. Cask flies across the map. Sidoi is like, please, please don't see me. Please don't kill me. And he actually is going to live. It is a 3-for-1 exchange. And Lions win every single engagement they take in this game so far.
That's just insane. That was so huge. The Cask in that particular position, like that was equal to a Chain Frost level of value that you could get from that Cask. Locking them all in, under the Ice Blast, under the Death Ward, just obliterating them. And VP, they have to, something's got to give. They have to find something. They'll have a Shadow Blade up for Sidoi soon enough, but I don't know, man. This is really difficult to come back from. Troll Warlord, still a really good hero though, and he'll keep farming away, finding ancient camps, stuff like that. Right now the Yash is up, and he's got 520 movement speed with phase active. My
biggest issue now is that Jotum is not... I mean, Spiritbreaker, you kind of need to... I feel like you need to be ahead of on this hero, otherwise he just feels somewhat useless. Like, he provides Nether Strike, which is pretty good, but other than that, I don't know what he's providing besides charges that do some decent damage, but... I think the damage really comes from G and maybe Poison Nova. Sidoi is getting a little bit of right-click. He's going for a Shadow Blade, but one is already picked up for Era. And they have so much damage on the other side of things, so that if you try to man-fight for Virtus.pro, as we've seen time and time again, it's just not going to work out. But they are taking this giant ancient stack. Do they see this happening? Smoke in the seat. Seal Kid, they're walking the wrong way. Giannis and Fan, oh no, if they had only known. If they had known Era, it might walk up to the high ground. He will see them. Yeah, they're going to jump in. Sidoi is going to get maybe the first Ice Blast. Big Laster's going to come in. Ice Blast onto 4 heroes. Eul is going to fall. G is next. Sidoi is going to get run at by Era. Sidoi is getting right-click down. Essence Shift blows him up. Triple kill for him. They're going to try to find Jotum. They will. And that's 4 dead. And they're going to steal the rest of the Ancients. Not that there were many left, but still. Oh, boy, what a disaster.
Insanely good Shadow Blade from Era. Him walking invis there would have changed, no, if he was visible, that would have changed everything. Of course, he probably would have just stayed with his allies smoked up, but because he has the Shadow Blade, he can just walk right up there, see what's going on, and they're in a perfect position to pounce. Now leading 28-11 in kills. Absolutely insane, and yeah, it's just Lajons that are really laying on the pain, but we are going to be, you got to get one in there, but yeah, this is really good timing for the momentum of Era in general, and if they build up a little bit more durability, Aghanim Scepters and such, they're going to be immortal.
Era taking a lot of damage, Jotum charges in, doesn't really do much. She battle trances, then immediately decides to turn around. He's like, I guess I'm just dead. Triple kill. Era's godlike now with 8-Mother as well. 8-Mother is beyond godlike. BZZ is going to get right-clicked in. I think it is time to call GG. I might be wrong about that, but you just had a huge team wipe. You kind of went in one by one, and you all died. Yeah. Virtus.pro, oh my.
Maybe it needs to be renamed to Vodka Pro. I don't know what that play was. Like, that was a drunken rage.
I'm a barasper on charge, people.
Chaos mode, all 5. Dashing in there. Spiritbreaker loves it, but I don't know if it's the best strategy overall. They just got absolutely decimated. Yeah, I agree with what you were saying before. The fact that the Spiritbreaker, if not him being ahead, at least his team needs to be ahead for him to really make an impact. His disables can still do a lot of work, but to be able to really capitalize on that, they need to have a very significant advantage, and he definitely can make that happen in the laning phase, but lucky position from the Batrider a couple of times to caused them some real issues, and otherwise it's just Lajons playing a really smart game of Dota. Now, double damage rune on the Invislark, hunting for Sidoi. He should find him, and I don't think the Shadow Amulet is going to be fast enough.
No. In short, no, it is not fast enough. That's all I can really say. And Era secures a kill, which provides him an SNY. SNY Shadowblade as if he wasn't farmed enough already. And at some point he might get a Scotty. He's actually going to get BZZ as well. BZZ doesn't even have Poison Nova, and or he's not. Okay. He's going to kill Who's he going to kill here? Yol?
He's going to get stunned out initially. So
and they just call GG. Away. That's actually just GG at this point.
Wow.
Maybe fake GG?
Hope not. There, they called it the second time. They canceled for a second to try to let this fight play out. No, they didn't even. They were just microing with their screen darkened. But end of the day, it's a 21-minute win for Lajons. They are proving themselves time and time again. You can ban one strat, they'll just pick up something new, and this was a really strong game from them. I mean, there was very little they did incorrectly this game, and I don't know. I can't really give an MVP. I mean, obviously the Batrider was very involved, and I think that he contributed probably the most, but you got to give it to the sports too. AA and Witch Doctor, their ultimates were insanely impactful, and across the board, just they played a really good game in a kind of crazy situation. VP wanted to throw them off their game, make it chaotic, and they kept their cool. Lajons really were on point this game.
That was quite the game. Man fighting Central, 21 minutes in, and how many kills did we have? A lot, just to say the very least. So that'll be the end of the game. It's been a pleasure casting for you guys today. Starladder EU is done for the day. They'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure who exactly is casting, but it certainly is not me. I believe Blaze is off as well. Blaze is off, I think, until the new year, as he said. There's going to be obviously a couple of big days coming up. Obviously, Christmas is coming soon, so make sure you guys take care, get your presents done, and make sure you stay with your family and have a very safe Christmas, very safe holiday. As for me, I'm not done. The 22nd is going to be Team Secret versus Virtus Pro at about 1500 CET, around that time. I believe F4L will be joining me for that. That'll be a best-of-5 series, so Virtus Pro, hopefully, they perform a bit better than they did here, and they take it to Team Secret. We'll have to wait and see. So join us on the 22nd for that. Make sure you guys check out Starladder tomorrow. Obviously, Starladder America might still be going on today. You can check that out at Beyond the Summit, I believe. Again, thanks for watching, guys. My name is Maut. You can follow me at Maut. I'd like to give a shout-out to Twitch. They just sent me this very nice hoodie with a very nice Christmas card as well that had my name on it. It's actually beautiful. All of them signed it as well, so big shout-outs to them. I'd like to give a big shout-out as well to Greg. What a sip for providing just so much stuff for me to do this season. And a big shout out to you, Blaze, for joining me as well. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you follow us at Maut, at Blaze Casting, and we will see you around sometime later. Have a good evening, everybody.